Neighborhood Nests, ideas for fostering community resilience in multi-residential buildings from Human Space and Quadrangle. Change is all around us. While some of the change is good, some is threatening to bring a lot of stress into our lives. And I don't think I need to remind anyone just how quickly things can change. So how do we adapt in a way that will allow us to respond and recover from sudden and stressful changes? Well, maybe we can learn from nature. One of nature's superpowers is resiliency, its ability to withstand or recover from difficult conditions. A key characteristic of resilience is redundancy. Having such a rich network of connections that the loss of one connection does not jeopardize the stability of the whole. Think of this as the difference between having a tenuous foothold on a cliff face to having a robust root system anchoring you in place. More bonds create more resilience. We should learn from nature's design strategies and apply these principles to the infrastructure that supports our daily lives. This infrastructure includes both the physical realities of sidewalks, buildings, pipes, and wires that provide shelter, water, power, and communications, and also the soft systems, such as social connections. Both are critical to fostering strong communities. In Toronto, we have a great existing social infrastructure of public amenities, such as libraries and recreation centers. But think of how much more resilient our network would be if we could add even more opportunities for making connections within a finer-grained layer of easily accessible social gathering spaces throughout our neighborhoods. We believe that there is a real opportunity to create these neighborhood gathering places by reimagining the internalized private amenity spaces that we already provide in all new housing, and changing them into welcoming, open community assets. Places to foster the social bonds that make resilient neighborhoods. We could call them neighborhood nests. The neighborhood nests that we imagine would be unpretentious, welcoming, and have three main physical characteristics. They would signal opportunities to pause for a moment, to stay for a while, and return to enjoy a variety of resources and activities. Invitations to pause would include elements such as a seat wall along the sidewalk for resting and, for one of our favorite sports, people watching. Movable chairs to allow for flexible seating arrangements, and a generous canopy to both provide shelter and mark a welcoming entry door. Invitations to stay would be provided by having a variety of seating opportunities, including long tables with room to spread out while still encouraging casual conversation. High tables for standing, sitting, or quick, low-pressure encounters. Soft seating for longer stays, and nooks at the periphery of the action for quiet moments. Invitations to return would be encouraged by embedding accessible design elements and enough flexibility to host a wide variety of functions and resources, including a counter for coffee and snacks, a games library, postings for changing local events, such as a book club, a music event, or a farmer's market. Neighborhood nests also need a welcoming presence to animate and set the tone of the place. While most residential buildings have security guards that function mostly as passive gatekeepers, we propose reframing the job description to facilitate inclusive community engagement. We think of this person as the nest curator. Their human touch will ensure that these welcoming neighborhood nests become vital components of the social infrastructure. On top of this, we would add a robust hard infrastructure of backup services, including an adaptive communications network, a continuous clean water supply, refrigeration for medical and other essential supplies, a heating, air conditioning, and filtration system to enhance air quality, all backed up by an emergency power supply. These rich and resilient connections to services and people will create a network of resources that will help us respond to the stresses that can be brought on by extreme weather or other unforeseen crises. In those cases, neighborhood nests can transition into the nodes where we can gather together to take shelter, plan next steps, and coordinate emergency provisions and pool resources. Or when physical distancing is the appropriate response, as in our current condition, these places can become the robust communications hub that will keep people connected to one another, providing the information they need, and the flexibility to act as emergency supply distribution hubs for a variety of critical needs. Once the stressful conditions start to dissipate, the flexible design of these neighborhood nests can facilitate recovery at a pace that works for the circumstance. They can become the places where people might start planning next steps for an appropriate re-entry to daily life. Then, starting to reintegrate some core activities, hosting smaller social events, and finally, reestablishing familiar routines. Since change is all around us, we believe that these resilient places are essential to fostering the strong communities we need to respond and recover from the stress events that rapid change can bring. Ultimately, neighborhood nests are great and flexible human spaces. Let's start a conversation to discuss how we can create these places together.